Hello and welcome. In this session, I'm going to be discussing how PrintVis supports competitive business processes. Now, first of all, I'm going to start a little about myself. I have over 30 years of industry experience, and I've gained this through working with companies within the folding carton, commercial print, web media, labels and shrink, digital, flexible packaging, kitting and warehousing. And prior to entering this industries, I actually worked within the pharma and cosmetics area. Now, during this time frame, I've held numerous different positions in numerous different areas. I actually started out in the industry as a floor boy during the summer jobs. I then returned to school, and after graduating, I started out as a cost accountant, worked up through financial management, have migrated into customer service, sales management. I've done some scheduling, logistics, purchasing, operations management, and plant management. And my education consists of being a fourth level CMA, specializing in costing. With York University, I got an operations management diploma. Through the Packaging Association of Canada, I've been certified by their packaging group. With the FTA, First Implementation Specialist, I have numerous purchasing management courses and a certificate. And with HP, I've got my digital printing training through them. Now, I'm going to start with an overview of competition. I'm a believer of motivational quotes as they give insights into the thoughts and teachings of very wise people, and that being very experienced also in the areas. Now, Bob Huey stated, if you're not taking care of your customer, your competitor will. Now, is there anyone out there listening that doesn't have competition or a competitor currently? I would be very surprised. Competition is the element of doing business. Highlighted in money green are key components of competition. They are pricing, quality, sales effectiveness, business process, and continuous improvement. Now, we should be able to legally print money by improving these strategic factors, and that will result in better cash flow. Now, being able to be competitive and achieving double-digit EBITDA is a real challenge for the industry. Currently, the average EBITDA for the print industry is less than 5%, and during the last little period of struggle, it's been under 3%. We are going to demonstrate why Print and PrintVis can assist your organization with pricing, profitability, quality, sales effectiveness, business processes, and continuous improvements in the following slides. Now, industry challenging. I've talked to major industry leaders in the printing and packaging industry, and they've indicated that what has been the most impactful to them are the first two being currently critical, and that's materials and lead times and personnel. Are your challenges the same? Now, material lead times, we're going to discuss the effects of and how PrintVis can assist and shorten your lead times, or at least make them controllable. Personnel, what's happening in the market and how do we retain or attract good employees or employees in general? Pricing and profitability. Do we find ourselves as busy fools or hopefully the wise person? Sales effectiveness or sales ineffectiveness, the cause and solutions. Effective business processes. As one printer said, the devil's in the detail, and that is where you're going to get undone with the process and where the dissatisfaction of your customer can be developed. Working smarter. Webster's definition of hard working is consistently, regularly, and habitually engaged in earnest or energetic work. The printing and packaging industry has always considered it to be hard working, but that does not increase the profitability. We need to be smarter. This is done utilizing smarter KPIs and reporting. Now, I'll leave you with a bit of a thought. We can no longer continue to do business the way we did it yesterday. That is the definition of insanity. We need to be looking to the future. This requires more timely, accurate reports with correct analyticals to direct us into the future. All of the above drive to an increased need of information for management to make these informed decisions in a highly competitive market. PrintVis, being a fully integrated ERP system, will be the backbone for this. And above all, we have the drive to increase need for timely, accurate information for management in a highly competitive market. Now, the first one area that was brought up was lead times. Now, in the past little while, the lead times have doubled, tripled, or even become longer. Some of our suppliers have also introduced allocations. Causes for this was COVID, of course, home improvement projects. The pulp or lumber was diverted to those projects. lack of containers with China holding them. There's even been port delays. One of our customers stated, that they had containers held at the entry port for 20 weeks awaiting its release. The final transit time only took 2 days after when it was released. Raw materials, finished goods, purchasing, and forecasting are controllable within our organizations. Customer ordering is outside of the control. With materials being 40 to 60% or even more of the selling price, with these extended lead times, it is now more important to have an integrated inventory management and purchasing system that fully incorporates the sales system. Now, with this increased lead times, it's also, raw materials lead times have the direct customer lead effect on the customer lead times. To protect your customer base, you are purchasing and holding larger volumes of raw materials and possibly finished goods. With increased inventories, there is more idle cash or money in the inventory, which directly affects cash flow. And as we all know, cash flow is king. PrintVis has a robust inventory management system with built-in raw materials forecasting, utilizing historical and future projections, adjusting material lead times, and ensuring inventory availability as required. This helps to better allocate resources and manage cash flow. PrintVis features an automated reorder function when minimum stock is reached. A solid supply chain saves money, better allocates resources, bolsters staff productivity. And now I'm going to talk about personnel. What is your most valuable asset? Many of you are going to state your new press is the most valuable asset you have. But who operates this equipment, makes it run efficiently, and makes it a moneymaker? Your people, of course. All tangible assets are operated or created by people. They are any organization's knowledge base, and that is the distinguishing factor between competitors. While interviewing a variety of printers, I heard a reoccurring statement. I wish I could get a person that will do the job, not necessarily a qualified person either. One with a good work ethic who stays more than one day and wants to be trained in the industry. Now, this isn't industry specific, but I have an example. The other night, we went out to our favorite restaurant. The service just wasn't up to its normal level that we've experienced in the past. I inquired with the manager what was going on. They, of course, apologized and stated that half of their staff had not returned once the restrictions were lifted. Now, the lack of good employees is a multi-pronged. It's right, of course, part of it's due to the pandemic. There's been a lot of government handouts. People, just want to stay home and still get paid. More people are wishing to work remotely or longer commutes. And what I mean by that is that with the longer commutes, they're only saying, I'll come in 2 or 3 days a week instead of all 5. Now, the U.S. economy is also undergoing the longest and largest economic expansion in the history. This has been going on since 2009. Now, there's an aging workforce, of course. The current workforce is aging out. With restrictions lifted, we are experiencing a higher number of retirements. Now, what I mean by that is the people who during COVID put off retirement. They said, what's the point of retiring? I've got no place to go. I'm just going to be able to sit around the house. Might as well spend time working. And there's others that just have not returned to the workforce because they're still not comfortable with coming to work. And another prong is we've not done a very good job of attracting younger workers. We've not made the industry sexy and appealing to them. It's no longer considered a trade or something that takes a lot of training. And I found a very interesting fact out. An estimated 43% of Gen X employees have ghosted an employer. That means they just don't even show up after accepting the job. Now, why Print and PrintVis develops your users to become awesome users? They are awesome, happy employees. Happy employees attract new employees. Happy team members refer to the best people they know because they want to work alongside with them. Now, the PrintVis solution, being cloud-based, has the capability of allowing employees to work remotely while being fully connected and completely secure. One business everywhere. One of our customers has a senior management currently that is based over 1,000 miles away from the physical manufacturing facilities. And that person has access to real-time data without affecting any timely management decisions that they need to make. And of course, it's a fully secure environment. That has been key to this employee, and he's allowing others to work remotely also. And it's allowed him to keep and retain employees. Now, next, I'm going to talk about pricing and profitability. Now, the current pricing model. Typical pricing within the industry is cost plus basis, not what the market was willing to pay. And remember, the customer will only pay what they think is the fair market value. And we got to remember, we sell conversions. Materials are consumed in the conversion process. They are not part, they are not the conversion. Now, do we consider, do you want to be considered a busy fool? That's somebody with low price and low quality, which equals no customers, no profit, and eventually closing the door. Now, the busy fool is also, it's a race to the bottom price while having increased costs. And these busy fools, they're producing jobs just to keep their equipment busy, and it may not be generating any profitability. It may increase the revenue, but it just tires their equipment, which eventually has to be replaced. Now, there's also the low price, high quality busy fool. They have lots of customers, no profits, because they're adding value that the customer just does not require and will not pay for. Now, of course, there's the fool. The fool has high price plus low quality. And of course, they get the first, maybe the second order, and they're profitable, but they have no lasting customer relationships because the fact is the business just isn't repeatable. And of course, there's the one we all want to be, the wise person who has the right price, the right quality, and is growing profitable organization. Now, part of the solutions that PrintVis and YPrint offer to help with these areas is there's the ability to quick quote. Right now, speed to the customer with an accurate pricing may get you the next order. And PrintVis has the ability by using what is called quick quotes to provide pricing within minutes utilizing templates. This will be further demonstrated in another session, estimating in PrintVis, time saver. Now, there's also a key part of profitability and pricing is analyzing using multiple margins and cost rates. As mentioned, the print industry sells conversion of materials. Should the markup rate be uniform across all the cost components, labor, materials, overheads, etc.? Or do you need a different machine rate to evaluate with overheads or without overheads? Now, PrintVis's estimating system is a fully integrated tool facilitating evaluation of pricing using different machine rates with different markup levels. An example is where a material is 80% of the cost. Should you mark the material up the same as the conversion? In other words, do you want to mark up the material by 20% and the conversion by 20%, only to lose the order because that 20% should never have been marked up that level? And will you get that order? Now, PrintVis has the capability to be precise to even a specific material or activity with its own markup rate. It also has the ability to reverse price. Now, what I mean by reverse price is the market price is whatever. You enter that market price, and then it generates the markup or the markups at the different levels. That way you can make the informed decision on whether you take the order, that market, or request different pricing. Now, the next slide is a demo showing how PrintVis's markup tool works. So we're going to take you on a short tour of the price group and the different markup levels. After that demo, we will discuss quality.
In PrintVis, we can use price groups to automate our estimate pricing by assigning different markup rates to different kinds of our labor and materials. For example, I have this case opened where I estimated 500,000 cards, 8 by 10 size. And here's my calculated price, quoted price. And you see here, I have a price group code 30 selected. How you choose to name your codes is, of course, totally up to you. In my case, I've just made a couple of examples of two different pricing levels, code 30 and code 15. So the code 30 will mark all my labor by 30%, and it will mark up all my materials by 15%. Code 15 will mark up my labor by 15% and my materials by 10%. Just to let you know that we can be even more precise, we can assign different rates of markup to different kinds of materials. For example, our paper can be marked up differently from plates and from ink based on our selecting a specific code. In this example, I just have one markup for labor and one markup for all materials. So the moment I apply a particular price group code, PrintVis will calculate my quoted price accordingly. If I was to apply code 15, for example, you notice how PrintVis will recalculate my price based on the lower markup. How this works is we've set up several hourly rates on all our equipment that we wish to assign different rates to. In this case, I have my 40-inch 8-color press, and you notice I've set up 3 different kinds of hourly rates for it. So the first hourly rate does not have any profit on it at all. It just basically has variable costs, direct costs, overhead. Then I have another rate that repeats exactly the same setup, except that this rate gets a net profit of 15% markup. And I assign this particular rate to my particular price group, which I called level 15 or code 15. Then my third rate is exactly the same way, except that I'm applying 30% of markup profit. And I'm assigning it to yet another price group, code 30. So the moment I pick on my case card, the moment I pick my price group 30, a particular press that is used in this estimate, which in this case is this press, will calculate at $455 per hour. And if I was to go to my case, take a look at my estimating page, select my press, and over here in calculation details, I will see that I'm running 6 hours, and here is my cost, and here is my total marked up price per hour, and this is $455. And it is because in my rate setup, I have chosen 455 to represent price group 30. So this is how you could quickly change different pricing levels in your estimates by simply flipping between different price groups that you've previously preset, of course. Now, if I'm choosing a price group 15 on my estimating page, my press hourly rate is now $402.50. And why is that? It is because on my rate setup area, my price group code 15 corresponds to $402.50. Now, this is the labor. Same works for materials. It's just done in a different area of the system. In this page, I decide what happens to what kind of material when a specific price group gets selected. So in this case, I see that I have my price group 30, and I will just use the paper as an example. This particular unit of measure is used on all our paper in this particular demo setup, and 15% of markup will get applied. If we go back to our case, and we will double check what price group is applied. So 15%, let's apply our 30 code. Now all our paper, all our materials for that matter will be marked up by 15%. And let's go and check that. We will go into estimating page, select the paper, and you see this is 65,400 sheets. Over here, I have my cost price, which is $96 per hundredweight, and my price is $110, which is $96 marked up by 15%. If I go back and switch from price group 30 to price group 15, my paper should now be marked up only by 10%. If I go into estimating, select my paper, and you could see now my paper is being marked up by only 10%. So what that means, when the estimate is done, a person reviewing the estimates can quickly choose which price group to apply. And that person also obviously can quickly see the corresponding quoted price. And of course, as a reminder, on the job card page, you would actually be able to also see what it does to our contribution margin, to our net profit. If I see, for example, that my contribution margin ratio is 14%, that is our value added. So I see that my value added in this case is 14%. If I was to switch from a price group 15 to price group 30 and go into job card, I will see that now my value added is 19%. So this is what we can use the price groups for in PrintVis.
Now, again, where I've stated about quotes, this is a famous quote by Demings, who's the father of quality evolution. He's the one who probably brought Japanese economy out of the bombings and the war and made it think the way it does today. And his quote is 85% of the reasons for failure are deficiencies in the systems and processes rather than the employee. And quality is everyone's responsibility. Within the printing industry, repeatability is the key quality challenge. What's the solution? Well, define repeatability as the consistency of outcomes which drives brand awareness. Now, enabling your operators to consistently and easily complete quality checks during each process is the key. Now, the results: you ensure all important and required tasks are followed and completed. It ensures even the simplest task is not forgotten. Number two, you ensure the operator stays focused on tasks to be completed. In other words, he's not running around trying to find the next check he has to make. This way, it's telling him right in front of him. It ensures the tasks and checks are completed in the correct sequence, not relying on a person to remember the correct sequence. It's time savings. The sequences are simply written, making them easy to follow and answer, resulting in few errors. Now, it improves productivity. Humans get an endorphin rush whenever they check or cross something off the checklist. I know I've got a daily checklist, and stroking off things on my list and feeling that I've got completion by 11 o'clock in the morning makes me feel great. Discipline and consistency. Employees feel accountable for performing the procedure or process because it is a written record and they have applied their name to it. And of course, the only thing we all own is our name. So this is an important process to them. Now, to ensure all operators, PrintVis has an editable and it's an incorporated process and procedural checklist that requires acknowledgements, approvals, and has the ability to enter notes. And this enforces the operator to perform the quality checks. It can be configured so that operators must, and I'm stating must, complete the required checks before proceeding to the next operation. So this stops them and ensures that they do the specific check that's required. And it saves it directly to the applicable job. The following demo will explain how to set up, ease of use by the operators, and how the checklist can be reviewed.
Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at using the quality control checklist in PrintVis Business Central and what needs to be set up in order for that to function properly. If we navigate to a case by going to case management and then selecting a case, we'll show less and hide our information under job on our jobs line called quality assurance. Clicking on this, we can access the quality assurance for the case. This will bring up a list of questions that we'd like our departments to answer. You'll notice that in this QA checklist, nothing is marked as mandatory. So at the moment, your operators are not being forced to answer any of the questions. However, if they were answering those questions in shop floor, depending on the setup of that question, the is okay box would be checked, and there may or may not be a comment, as well as the date of user or the user ID and the date of modification. And you can see that as that is entered, that information is populated. This list can be accessed through this area, or it can be accessed in the shop floor interface. In addition, we do have the ability to edit the list at any time. The editing list from this page only allows us to check or add comments. We do not have the ability to add a QA checklist from this screen. In order to set up our quality assurance checklist, from any screen, we can search for QA Setup and select QA Setup. This brings up our list of questions that have been set up in our system. If we'd like to take a look, we can edit that list, see our quality code, and select the lines. By selecting the lines, we're able to see the questions that are assigned in there. On this screen, we have several options. One, we can put our description, which is the question we would like our operator to answer. If we would like it to link to a certain item, we can. The department that should be answering that question. So if my pressman or my pre-press operators are in shop floor, they will only see the questions for their department, meaning they will not see proof okay by customer or paper check. The capacity unit, we can limit this to a capacity unit, such as our offset press, if it's specific to a particular machine. And the same thing for the cost center. If we'd like to assign it to a particular cost center, we can select that as well. Under our mandatory field, we have 4 options. None means that the question is not mandatory and the pressman or operator will not be forced to answer that question. If we select check mark only, it will only require that is okay checkbox to be entered. If we select comments only, then we only require our operator to enter comments on that. Or if both is selected, the quality assurance will require a check mark and a comment for that item. And then the QA type, whether it's a general QA type specifically for make ready or production run. To add a new line to our QA setup, we hit new and can type in our description. And the item is saved. Now, if we go back and view our case again, and we look on our job line and quality assurance, there is our check registration. And we can see that it is mandatory. However, they only have to check the box to verify that they've checked the registration. Now, what your operator sees when they are processing a job, okay, so I'm in the cost center. If I look at a job and I hit QA checklist, there's my quality assurance checklist for my operators to answer. And you can see that since I'm logged into my printing or my offset press cost center, I'm only seeing the printing department. If I hit proof okay by customer, check job ticket for special things and correct paper, and hit close, it will let me. However, when I go to mark job complete, that information is registered in our system. Now, if we look at our case management list and we look at our callers for mark job and quality assurance, we can see that those 3 items were completed. This can be tied to a particular customer or unit, or production product group, so that if particular customers have certain requirements for quality assurance checklists, you are able to assign those and create those checklists. In order to do that, we search for QA setup. We can create our new code. And under usage, we can assign it to a customer group or a specific customer number. Now, if we add our quality codes, if we view any job for Pressonian at this point, our quality assurance list will have our additional information at the bottom for our Pressonian customer. So for instance, if we want to set this, we can check the quality code and usage, and we can assign it to a particular product group or order type. So your offset could have a different quality checklist than your digital press if you have additional information, or if you have eco label requirements, you can add those as a quality assurance setup and assign those to the correct eco code, so that when that eco code is selected on the case card, it will pull in that quality checklist specific for the stock. For instance, this would be handy when you want to make sure that your pressmen have pulled the correct SFI or FSC certified stock. If you have any additional questions about the quality assurance setup, please reach out to your partner.
Now, here's another very interesting quote from Steve Jobs. Get closer than ever to your customers, so close that you tell them what they need well before they realize it themselves. Now, we're going to talk about sales effectiveness or ineffectiveness. Now, you're unique, but we're not that different. Now, what I meant by that is understanding the industry. Printing and packaging is custom manufacturing, not a unique industry. We just use jargon that's different from other customer manufacturers. We think it's all about the print. It's not. It's about sales effectiveness. Now, speed, customer service, skilled resources, and delivery count. Now, the printing industry is guilty as making it all about price. And of course, it's not. While printing is a significant component, so is speed, customer service, resources, and delivery. Now, we need to focus on customer requirements. The purpose of the customer comes to us is to solve their business needs or issues. Solving issues is a powerful tool. This allows for selling value added to the customer and, again, increasing profits. A customer's current supplier consistently delivers the product late, delaying their production, upsetting their customers. Now, would you be willing to pay more to ensure on-time delivery? I know I would. Create and foster relationships. Now, there's resource personnel. One of the 10 laws of customer success is that customers and vendors tend to drift apart just naturally. So without consistent care and feeding, you are always at risk of losing them. One of the resources that you tend to really need to use and use more often is the customer service group, because the customer tends to trust that group more because they're a customer's advocate. They're not the salesperson. They don't want to be sold to. They just want to be educated. And you can create additional teams or resources by linking the operations and customers, and that helps solve most manufacturing issues. Now, the other interesting relationship to create is create it between your supplier and your customer. And this relation's strategic. It helps the flow of correct and timely information within the supply chain. It removes a lot of non-value waste, which is time and resources. And I've implemented this personally and in the process of a former employee. The major improvement we saw was 10% improvement in customer satisfaction within the top 10 customers. It gets your supplier closer to your customer so you can tell them what the customer requires. Now, response time to the customer. I have a personal experience. Again, I went to 7 potential suppliers, 4 of which responded in 24 to 48 hours. One's response time was over a week and 2 never responded. So I bet you can guess who will not be getting the order or the sale. Within PrintVis, we have the ability of doing quick quotes. There will be a further demonstration in this in the estimating system. But while using a quick quotes, one of our customers stated that they have reduced estimating load by 25%. And an organization can expect that to be anywhere between 15 and 30% improvement. And that's reducing the estimate load on the estimating department. And then with these, sales has the ability of responding directly to the customer with pricing without waiting on the estimating team. Order acknowledgement and delivery notes. With integration of Outlook direct from the order, this lends to our customers feeling secure and clear of their order and their production time and the delivery. Also, the requested information by the customer. Integration with Outlook to the production system gives instant information requested. And what I'm saying by that is you have the ability with one click to link from the email the customer sent you to the production floor or any production information. Another key area is shipment acknowledgements. Through Dynamic Ship, it sends directly to the customer the tracking information just as the shipment leaves the building. So there's no follow-up by the customer because they know that it's left and they've got the tracking information so they can. Now, the above all link to one source of documentation and print. This all links to one documentation, and PrintVis calls that a case. And it ensures timely communications because you go into the case and you can deviate from there to the other relevant information, the job, the estimate, any notes that are being kept, the item. With the assistance of YPrint and PrintVis, you will be taking care of your customer and they will not consider your competition as an option. Now, this is an example of, within the sales effectiveness area, we received an email from Corey, the customer, and inquiring about the status of the delivery order. How many times have you heard the customer service rep on the other end of the phone say, please hold on while I look up your account? 3 minutes later, they respond, how can I help you? Now, think about how much time gets wasted looking up that account. This will never happen to you using PrintVis because PrintVis is smart enough to open up the account automatically. No more wasted time looking up accounts. Now, opening up that email integrates Outlook directly to the ERP production environment, allowing for instant responses without wasting time logging into a separate search system. Now, this, I guess the best way of describing this is a spaghetti diagram. Now, it's a typical process flow from a printing and packaging company. Most current business systems within organizations have scattered platforms using different software, department-specific, same data entry. And that's how this became known as the spaghetti diagram, because everything's all over the place. This spaghetti process flow reduces communication between various team members, creating islands of data and systems. To make the business process more efficient requires one automated ERP system, PrintVis. Now I'm going to talk about business processes and how we can improve them. Now, the interesting quote here is, however beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. That's by Winston Churchill. And that makes total sense to this one, because going through the business process, you can end up in the forest and not see the trees. Now, within Why Print, we create awesome users. Now, really, you create the awesome users. Why Print's mission is not just implementing a better ERP solution. It's to make your users awesome employees. Awesome employees are more likely to evangelize your services to others. They're going to constantly be selling your company to anybody they talk to. They're always positive. They improve communication throughout the supply chain. Now, the business process needs to, cause cost reductions and improve efficiencies. Now, awesome users improve efficiencies and reduce costs with better understanding, all embracing utilization of the business process, resulting for easy data collection to centralized database with an automated processing, reducing manual entry and information sharing, or improving information sharing. And this reduces the duplication of data entry, which then in turn reduces errors. Now, define the bottleneck. The term bottleneck refers to both an overloaded or slowing overall performance. It's about removing the processes that get in the way of work. PrintVis makes processes faster, removing the bottleneck, reducing the number of manual and repeated steps, changing from sequential tasks to simultaneous tasks. Now, there's the Microsoft Cloud. Now, the benefit to it is it's access from anywhere. There's reduced costs, very little maintenance. It's scalable. It's reliable. It's the security. It's from Microsoft. What more is security? We know that they're an extremely secure organization. Would you trust them over your own organization? Timely information and smarter reports. Now, timely information and smarter reports are visualized complex group of data to spot trends, understand performance across the business, and design for growth. Now, within PrintVis, it's fully GAAP compliant financial system as the backbone. All job financial data is seamlessly connected to the general ledger, which makes it for ease of navigation, ease of use. Now, the best business process solution is a fully integrated ERP that, with awesome users, provides accurate real-time data, which equals a more efficient, profitable organization with cash flow. And again, cash flow is king. That is what Why Print and PrintVis solution. Now, continuous improvement is not about the things you do well. That's work. Continuous improvement is about removing the things that get in the way of work. The headaches, the things that slow you down, that's what continuous improvement is all about. Now, it's removing them from, as the bottleneck does. Now, printing money and staying competitive, right, in today's market, we can no longer conduct business the way we did yesterday. We need to be looking to the future to be competitive in tomorrow's market. It begins with a clearly defined and measurable KPIs in line with the organization's vision and mission. PrintVis is an efficient and relevant ERP system, which is essential to continuous improvement. It's the enabler. Without an effective system, it becomes extremely difficult to authenticate all information, correctly identify the process which require improvement, then set that improvement into motion. Before developing any major continuous improvement project, it is essential to set in place an ERP system that can supply the information easily, timely, and to achieve the project success, working smarter, not harder. To complete a continuous improvement cycle, mostly the strength of our current ERP system, and then we start the cycle all over again. Now, with all this complete, you will be able to start printing money legally. PrintVis empowers your people to become awesome users. Having the right tools enables awesome users to find a way to win profitable business. More profitable business makes you a wise person and helps you to start printing money legally. And thank you.